Good morning, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 13460 Snowberry Court here in Lake Oswego. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house or facing the front door. We are just to the right of the front door. The clean out here, should you lose track, it's pretty easy to hunt down. The crawl space is huge. You can kind of see where it pops out of the house. But you've got kind of these little notched out, it's kind of like a cantilevered window, except it's not cantilevered. But this pop out right here, the clean out comes out right dead center in the middle of it. You got the little recesses on both sides of it. And this is just to the right of the front door. Dropping into a 3-inch ABS clean out. We're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero out the base of the clean out to get some cobwebs off the camera. All right, into the belly of the beast we go here. So just right out of the gate, that is an absolutely spotless clean flow line. That is precisely how you want your sewer line to look right there. That little dangly, little stringy thing up there at the top of the pipe, that's just a cobweb. Very common thing in sewer pipes. That is a magnificently clean line. This is a very good example of a home that is doing a fabulous job at not putting cooking oil and grease down the line. Fats in general. That's the number one thing that will gunk your pipe up. After doing I'm actually getting to just about 25,000 sewer scopes now. And a lot of drain cleaning. Grease buildup is a very common contributing factor to blockages occurring, especially ones that result in backups. Not just, the reason you don't want grease in your pipe is grease often causes items that would otherwise break loose on their own naturally to stick and hang in there and result in a full-on sewer event. And it just, in general, leads to build up throughout the sewer line. Anyway, we just swapped over to 4-inch PVC pipe there a moment ago. My camera right now is almost upside down, kind of sideways for one of the water lines over there. And we are just about, yep, there's the main right there. About 65 feet out. So we're going to go locate this here real quick while the line drains off. We'll get a nicer view of everything as we come back in here in a moment. Thus far, immaculately clean line. Great flow. That last, or just about the last joint here is just slightly out of whack. I mean, that's about the only thing I could even nitpick, and that's getting pretty nitpicky there. That's about a 32nd to a 16th of an inch out of whack there. Just in the world of joint issues is about as minor as it gets. Just located the camera head. Line terminates on Snowberry Court. So as the line makes its way out to the street, it again pops out just to the right of the front door, kind of about smack dab between the front door and the garage. And then jaunts under the full width of the driveway. It looks like it pops out the complete right side of the driveway and then turns and shoots off into the street. I'm going to go do a quick locate here. In fact, if you go stand out in the road, about middle of the road, face the house, and off to your right, you're going to see about a 6-inch wide steel plate in the street there. That is very, very close to where the line hits the main, like within just a couple feet of it. I just did another locate there, so kind of based on that trajectory, the line gets well beyond the right side edge of the driveway into the planter area where there's some hedges to the right of the driveway. About right between this driveway and the property next door is where the line turns and shoots the road. It looks like if it doesn't go underneath it, it gets very close to going right underneath the water meter. Anyway, that little that joint there at the end of the line, that thing is so minor, it's not even going on my report. I mean, there's essentially almost nothing going on with it whatsoever. It's very minute. And for reference, I don't even consider repairs, unless the pipe joint is open to the ground or something, on your average offset joint until it's about an inch offset. What you have there is essentially nothing. It's 32nd of an inch, maybe less than that. Anyway, if you are newer to home ownership, want to keep the line this clean, kind of the general rule of thumb I tell people, and it's a very good habit to have in place when you have little kids that are still balling up toilet paper, haven't learned how to fold it yet. Those are the #1 cause of blockages out there, is balled up toilet paper. Kind of the general rule of thumb to live by that mitigates most buildup is if you've got enough grease or oil on your pans, that if you were to turn that pan sideways when the pan is hot or warm, there's enough on there that it runs or flows off the pan. It's that point you want to do something about it. Either pour it into a jar or a metal can while it's still liquid, or let it cool down and scrape it off into a garbage can, or wipe it out with a paper towel after it's cooled. That'll mitigate the overwhelming majority of grease and cooking oil going down the line and the buildup from it. A thin little coating of PAM spray, for instance, not a huge deal. Hot water and soap handles that fine. One of the keys to making sure nothing, or as little as possible, hangs up, if you know some amount's getting down the line, is let your hot water run. Use as hot a water as you can out of your sink and soap, but let the hot water run for a full 30 seconds or so after you've scrubbed your last dish off. Once that water that's carrying the grease hits the exterior where the pipe's buried underground, stuff starts to cool off rapidly. And so when you shut that water off immediately after washing that dish off, a lot of times it'll stay, melted through the interior crawl space area, but the moment it hits the outside, it starts to harden up just outside the foundation wall. So that's just a little trick you can do to help ensure that if it, does collect somewhere, it does it at least either in the main lateral or a good distance away from the house. So anyway, fabulous looking line there. Great flow end to end. All the pipe is in good condition and superbly clean. You rarely get all those things in one. Line is functioning properly at this time.